Hello, everybody. Thank you for your coming. We are really pleased to welcome you for this new webinar on entrepreneurial competencies and skills. The speakers today come from are Hélène Hoyos, j'espère que je ne... and Violaine and Violaine Jacques. So Hélène from Azimut and Violaine from CreaJob. Azimut and CreaJob are structures for self-creation employment. This is the translation from French, and their main job is to train people who would like to create their own enterprises. They are, since the SPW started working with the implementation of EntreComp, those two structures, Azimut and CreaJob and some others, are really very involved in the project. And they have been developed a tool on assessment of entrepreneurial skills. And the presentation today is to present you the work that they developed on this tool. So Hélène and Violaine, the floor is yours. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I propose to share the screen. And just to say that, so my name is Violaine Jacques. I'm a business engineer and I'm working with CreaJob. I've worked with CreaJob for more than 15 years. First as a coach, and then with like a team leader, and now like a financial director. And I'm also in charge of the quality process, and so it's why I was implicated with the assessment tool which we will share today. So CreaJob and Azimut are two SaaS. This is organization which are financed by public authorities, and our goals are to support and to develop business projects. Our public is job seekers, and so it's why in our approach economics and social are related, and social is very important because as the job seekers they need to be sure that they will have enough money at the end of the month, and so well, it's very important for us. Okay, and I don't know if Hélène wants to say something about
about myself. Yes, I can introduce myself. Thank you, Violaine. So I'm Hélène Oiwa. I'm working in Azimut since a few months only. Before that, I had a startup. So I have some experience like as an entrepreneur, and now I'm happy to share my experience to other people that want to develop a project. So in Azimut, I'm working like a coach to entrepreneur. Azimut is the same that CreaJob. So Violaine already explain what is it. Maybe the little difference with CreaJob is that we also give advice to people that are employees and are already entrepreneurs. So we have two more public that we coach. Voilà, maybe Violaine, you can go.
Thank you. I will try to, okay, let's go. So the tool we present today is an assessment tool for the future entrepreneur. We worked on that because we realized that the way of working of the project leader are really important to understand for the coach and for the project leader himself before starting a support process with us. We work together as Imut and CreaJob because we have a lot of things in common, and so it was a large job, and so we decided to do it together. The tool is currently being tested, but I think it's nearly good now, and then we can reach the final tool in a short term. The tool is used at the same time for the diagnosis, so at the very beginning of the process, because, as I said, we need to understand the way of working, the strengths, the weaknesses of the project leader. And it will also be used as final evaluation to be able to see, to evaluate the progression of the project leader. But we would like to also give the possibility of carrying out another assessment, an intermediate assessment, target at certain skills or certain competencies, because sometimes as we give coaching, but also training session, we would like to be sure that some skills are better after the training session. Yes, that's it. Now the system is on Excel, but we would like to do better, and in the near future we will put it in our digital platform. Yes, it will be better to
work with, yes, to interact
with the project leader. Yes, so that's it for the introduction. I propose to Hélène to present a part, not all the tool, but a part of this tool.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. It's really little on the screen. I hope you can see. But so I will explain a part of the tool we use by taking an example on 2 skills. The first one is mobilizing resources, and the second one is planning and management. So each time the entrepreneur finds the definition of the competence, the skills. So here for mobilizing resources, it's I don't really see very well. Up. It's be aware of your strengths. Yeah, sorry, it's very
like this. It will be okay, I think.
Yes, maybe.
Okay for you, Hélène?
Not really, but I have the PowerPoint. Yes, it's okay. Thank you. Perfect. So the definition of the competence mobilizing resources is be aware of your strengths, believe in your ability to carry out your project. And then the entrepreneur has 2 questions. One is a closed question, and the other one is an open question. Why do we work with questions? Because when we tested the tool with the questions, we realized that it was very difficult for the entrepreneur to evaluate himself. So to help them reflect on themselves and on the practical sphere, we have created 2 questions. So yes, they can have a better reflection of themselves. The first close question is, when developing an ID, do you call on outside resources to help you? Depending on whether the answer is yes or no, the open question is different. So if the entrepreneur answer yes, the open question will be, can you give a concrete example where you have used outside resources to help you? And if the entrepreneur answer no to the closed question, the open question will be, what will you do to enable the missing resources? Maybe I don't, it's not, we don't see it in this example, but in couple of questions, we also talk about personal life situations. Why do we do this? Because sometimes we advise people who have not been in the job market for a long time, or they had a bad experience in the professional field, and so they have some difficulties to make a parallel with a professional situation, and so to evaluate themselves. So that's why we also take the example for the personal life situation. Yes, you can go to the second slide.
Don't you want to present the second?
I can, yes, I can.
In this one, you have a personal.
Yeah, okay. So yes, the second, I can do this. The second skill we have in example is planning and management. So the definition is set short, medium, and long-term goals, establish priorities and action plans. Like the other one, so you have a closed question and an open question. So the closed question will be, are you able to identify priorities to lead to a good activity in personal or professional life? So like I explained before, here we take the example for personal or professional life to make the parallel. If the entrepreneur answers yes, the open question will be, to carry out a professional or personal activity, what type of actions do you put in place? And if the answer is no, the question will be, what are you missing to complete a professional or personal activity? So yes, the example was better for the, the personal life. Yes, so the second, thank you. Look, after this first self-reflection with the two questions, the entrepreneur is invited to evaluate himself according to certain levels. So like you can see here, from red to dark green. The red level is the lowest level, and the dark green is the highest level. Yes, so here for the, I think it's for the example of mobilizing resources. So after the first self-evaluation, the entrepreneur can evaluate himself on this evaluation level. If he puts the red level, each time, so the entrepreneur have a definition of the level that is selected. So for the red one, it will be the resources at my disposal are not being used optimally. I feel like I'm short of time, money, and or skills. If thank you. If he puts the orange level, the detail of the selected level will be, I'm able to identify the resources I have, mine, but also those of my entourage. I'm aware of their limited nature. If you put the yellow level, the selected level will be, I have a critical view on the use of my resources, and I didn't identify areas for improvement. The light green, the selected level will be, I'm able to gather the necessary resources to grow my business and set up different combinations of using them to achieve my goals. And finally, the dark green, the selected level will be, I use my resources efficiently and optimally. I put in place strategies to fill the missing resources, including by mobilizing them with my personal or professional network. I'm able to delegate wisely. So you can see there is really an evolution, of course, with the different level. Also, maybe a point, it's that when we explain the tool to the entrepreneur, we put the focus on that it's impossible to evaluate ourselves in dark green. So it's impossible to put all the level in dark green, because we are humans, and it's normal to have some weaknesses. But the goal of this tool is really to make people aware of their strengths, and especially for people who have some difficulties with employment or self-confidence. The tool is also used to show the skills that can be improved, the evolution, of course, in fact, of the skills. Thank you. So after the self-evaluation, the entrepreneur receives kind of graphic showing the evolution of the skills. So in fact, the entrepreneur makes an evaluation at the beginning of the coaching. So when we start the coaching with the entrepreneur, he begins with a first evaluation that we call initial evaluation. And at the end of the coaching, he make a new evaluation to see the evolution. So the initial evaluation is that you can see in blue, and the final evaluation is that you can see in orange. The initial evaluation is done by the entrepreneur himself, and then the coach comes to challenge the entrepreneur according to the levels and examples given. So the goal is really to reflect with the people to know if he or she is right in the position in the levels. So to do this, we will ask a question to challenge the entrepreneur. For example, look, if the entrepreneur considers that he knows his strengths and weaknesses, we will challenge him by asking him, okay, but what are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What are you doing to overcome your weaknesses? So that kind of question to challenge the entrepreneur and see if the evaluation is correct.
Thank you, Hélène. I just would like to focus on the key elements of the tool, even if I will sometimes repeat some of the elements that Hélène just explained. So there are three essential adaptations if we compare with the EntreComp guide. I think in the EntreComp global guide there are 60 skills, and we decided to keep only 18. Why? Because I don't know if it's especially for public, but personally, I had the opportunity to test the complete model with a trainee, which was in a CREA job during a few months. And it was very long, very heavy to understand all the differences between the 60 skills, even in the level. So it's why also we reduced the number of the level at 4 plus level 0, because sometimes the difference is too small, and then at the moment you don't have more energy to understand okay, why did they choose this word and not this word. And so we would like to make it a little bit simple, because it's very important for us that the project leader can do the process to the end, and with real in-depth reflection. So well, it's why we choose to reduce the number of skills. The famous level 0, it's yes. So in the model at the beginning, there were 8 levels, or rather 4, and each divided into 2. But the first level shows a certain level of competence which was reached by the project leader, and in sometimes we can see that a lot of our public have no competencies. So we have to identify this situation also. So we add level 0. A really big difference is the fact that we have no visualization of the different levels. We have not to read the 8 or the 4 or 5 levels to positionate himself. We have to. It's why we decided to do like this, because yes, like for the 60 skills, it's too long, too complicated to read the 8 levels. So we decide to change the process, and so first we choose the level, and then we see if the level is okay for us. If it's okay and I don't want to change, so okay, I just have to read 1 level. If I think I'm better than the description, so I can read the level above. And if I think, oh, no, I'm not at that level because I cannot do this thing or this other thing, so we can choose the level below. But you have not to read the 5 levels at one time. As Hélène said, it's a 3-step process. It means that we will not just send the tools to the project leader and say, okay, it's your job, thank you. It's only the first time. The project leader will do the self-assessment. Then in the second time, the coach will do a meeting, probably with the project leader, and challenge each question, each skill, to understand in depth what is the situation. And finally, they will analyze, interpret the results together. And I think you understand our methodology. The project leader must question himself and be able to illustrate his evaluation. It's not just choose a level. It's very important for us that the project leader do this thought and this find an illustration of the competence in his personal or professional life. And we really think that this is a necessary condition to facilitate the positioning on a level. I will do just a little focus on the challenge, on how to challenge, because it's important for the next step. What is important when you want to challenge the project leader? First, I think it's important to listen to what they have to say about their own experience. And next, you never, I think it's better never to consider it to be the reality. We need to understand the context and the reaction of the project leader in depth and not just superficially. The coach needs to question sometimes several times around the same subject to be sure that the situation is well understood. So I just would like to share 2 tips that are applicable very generally, I think. Firstly, but I think just as we do in our tool, ask to illustrate a statement. For example, the project leader says, "I'm very creative." Okay, well, but tell me the last time you were creative, and why do you consider this to be a creative attitude? Because sometimes we don't have the same definition of the creativity. And then second tip, dig into what's behind nearly each word used to describe the skill. For example, the description is, I mobilize the necessary resources to compensate for my weaknesses. I learn from my mistakes and move forward. Okay, what are your weaknesses? I just take one word of the statement and I dig into this. How do you compensate? This is also a word that we used here, and with which resources. The last point we would like to share with you today is the goals of the tool, and we think the goals can be described into 3 levels also. First is the one for the project leader. Yes, we think the assessment tool allows to realize the reality of the job of entrepreneur. Most of the time, when a project leader arrives in our organization, we realize that he doesn't understand what is the job of entrepreneur. Okay, maybe he's an hairdresser, he's a trainer, I don't know, he knows his job, but he doesn't know what is entrepreneur, and so he doesn't know how to sell, how to communicate, how to organize himself, yes, it's a lot of competencies, a lot of skills, and it's the goal of EntreComp model, I think. It also allows to evaluate yourself at different points in the project. Yes, at the beginning with the diagnosis, at the end, but also during intermediate evaluation. And finally, we think that the project leader can build confidence by seeing how far he comes from. So we think the progress is very important for him. Second level, the coach. We think that using this assessment tool allows to know the way of working of the project leader and to analyze its suitability. In our sector, we often say that we have to be matching between the project and the project leader, and it's also a necessary condition to continue the business development. As the coach knows the way of working of the project, he can adapt his own way of coaching to the situation. So, for example, if we have project leader who cannot fix long-term goals, even mid-term goals, and he needs rather details with action plans, with a list of tasks. Maybe at the beginning of the training, of the coaching, we have to do small tasks, and then little by little try to develop his skills towards the fact that he can be able to fix his own goals for the future, because obviously the final goal is to autonomize the project leader. And finally, for the coach, the last goal is to identify the training and skills development needs of the project leader to choose the good training session for him. And the third level for the organization. So I told in the beginning that we were financed by public authorities. So we have to give our results. But most of the time, our results are quantitative, and we would like to show that our job is also qualitative. So this is a way to show that, we think. And we can do this individually, person by person, show that, okay, this one do a good progression, and this other one, etc., etc. But we can also measure the global impact of our program, the added value. And if we are okay with that, but I think it's important, we can adapt also our program as well as coaching and training to the findings of an overall evaluation. I think that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Violaine. So now we wanted to go into practice, and I try with you the two examples we show you before. But maybe before that, I don't know if you have any questions about the presentation or the tool.
I don't think there is any question. And also regarding the breakout rooms, I'm not sure it is necessary.
No. Okay, so the idea here is that we wanted you try the tool, the assessment tool, for yourself, and first individually. So maybe after that we can go on the slide to show the tool. And so first, individually, you can evaluate yourself, and then in group, so together, we will ask you of one of you, I think, to put yourself in the shoes of a coach. I don't know if it's a good sentences, but so challenge the evaluations of others. So challenge with questions like Violaine and I explain to you. To allow you to develop your ability to perform evaluation of a project leader. So I don't know if it's really understandable. Maybe Violaine, you can go on the slide.
Yes.
With the tool. Yes. Voilà. And I don't know how many times we can give. Maybe
between 5 or 10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. So we ask you to evaluate yourself according to the two examples here.
Like that, they can firstly
so we have everything.
Choose the close-ended question and then answer the open question.
Yes.
And then, but it's maybe a bit. Right. I can do this.
I can see like this. I don't know for the others, but
yeah,
all right.
Okay, but maybe I can stay during 5 minutes on the first competence.
Yeah.
Yes, and
I will change and show the second one.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
So the idea is that one of you explain his own evaluation, and then the other can question, challenge, to be sure that the illustration is correct, the evaluation, the level is correct. Okay. Who would like
to do the exercise?
I can reply this one, but the other one was a bit difficult for me.
Okay.
Yeah. When developing an idea, do you call an outside resource to help you? Yes. Can you give a concrete example where you have used outside resource to help you? I would like to develop a social innovation module for our affiliated university because I believe it is important for SMEs that social innovation is important, and we work for the benefits of the SMEs.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have enough human resource in-house, and secondly, they don't believe that maybe it is another, I don't know, it's another competence. They don't have any idea about the social innovation. And usually it is accepted that social innovation is for only social entrepreneurs. So I asked the help of the companies who are really in practice, I mean, socially innovative. They are proven to be innovative. So they convince the manager of my institution and the university that SMEs should also be socially innovative, and the improvement and development of a module is helpful to SMEs because this potential entrepreneurs will have an idea about the social innovation. So I don't know if asking the help of a company is a outside resource to help me, but I thought that it is so. So you can just evaluate on it. So concerning the level, I don't know. I guess it's the yellow one, I guess. Or I have a critical view on the use of my resources and I identify areas for improvement.
Okay, the others, do you want to challenge it?
I could challenge a bit. No, I think that it's a really interesting example, and I think it's also sort of one where, you know, you're having to convince other people of things that they they perhaps didn't agree on before. But I think it was quite interesting when I looked at this. I was like, I have a critical view on the use of my resources, and I identify areas for improvement. And I also had that conclusion for the example I had. And I think, you know, when I hear you say it, I'm like, actually, you know, you do use your resources efficiently and optimally. I think the situation that you've identified, it's perhaps one where there are areas for improvement. There's always areas for improvement. But I think there's actually, as a person, I know you, so that's helpful. Are probably more into the green zone, but this particular situation is more in the yellow zone, as it were, because there's such integral challenges to actually implementing it that are both institutional, and not only you, for example. So I'd say I'd challenge it in the sense that I think actually you're pretty good at, you know, you are aware of your strengths. That can be good and bad sometimes, because I think when you're aware of your strengths, you know what you're not good at. I know what I'm not good at, and that can be, you know, something. But I think you can mobilize resources. So I think you're able to gather necessary resources. It's just this particular example is a bit more difficult. So I'd probably put you more in the green as an individual. But this situation, it's, you know, social innovation is never easy to get through it everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you. What would you like to do? We can do the second one.
Yes. So the second skills. Yeah. And I don't know if somebody have want to give an example of his evaluation.
Shall I give an example of mine, seeing as I'm online and here? Now, setting goals. This is one where I'm good at it at the beginning. Following them is a bit more difficult. I don't always get to follow them, for better or worse. So I would give an example to when I'm designing a project. I can identify the actions that need to take place within that project design phase. And I think that within that, the sort of actions I try and put in place is to sort of get an idea of what it will take. So to actually set up like an Excel to really scope out the different elements of it, what will be important to each of those elements, and, you know, perhaps then how much time it will take to achieve each of those elements dependent on that. So in sense of, and then sort of, you know, perhaps then the milestones, how will you know that you're kind of progressing towards them? So I can kind of plan from that perspective. I think for me, I probably will go down the road of being a bit more, take a critical view, because I know that I can identify objectives, but sometimes I find it difficult to operationalize them. So I'm somewhere between the orange and the yellow. I kind of know how to get there, but for me, I need support, and I need to work in a team to actually operationalize those objectives. I can plan a project well, I can identify and give people a vision of what it needs to be and where it can go, and how to a certain extent to get there. But when it comes to the sort of real specifics of the implementation side of things, I need help to be able to operationalize those, and actually then make that happen. So, and I wouldn't set myself into the green bit, because, you know, I think anyone would tell you that sticking to a strategy is not an expertise area of mine, because I tend to go off piste a little bit because I get excited about something, or I think how we can adapt it and make it better. So perhaps that, you know, I'm definitely orange to yellow, for better or worse, as it were.
Okay.
Thank you. Another interesting question is also, which solution do you set up to improve the situation?
I work with people like Candice and Megan and Greta.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Good answer.
It really is. the only way that things happen.
Candice, you will want,
Yeah,
you want to say
I have
something?
a question for you, Eileen.
Yeah.
What could you identify as like a competence? If I take the question from the questionnaire, like what are you missing and as a competence or something you want to develop in order to address some of these challenges?
Habit forming. What am I missing as a professional competence? I think the ability to work to deadlines.
Less workload, maybe.
Yeah, but no, sort of that ability and that awareness of deadlines. I'm a little bit time blind, and I'm also very optimistic.
Because you are so ambitious.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Not everybody would agree.
Does everyone
Thank
have
you.
something to share?
You know, Candice,
I have a
maybe
question. When we will be able to test this tool online?
Yeah.
Violet.
For the moment, the tool is just share between the project
Azimut,
leader
okay.
of CreaJob and Azimut. We don't know yet if it will be open to a large public, or we don't know. We didn't speak about that. So yes, we will tell you if there is news. If there are
Yeah,
news about that.
please let us know. And also, do you know which tool you're going to use in a platform, a digital survey tool? Do you know already, or do you have any ideas?
Yes, we have some ideas because in CreaJob and Azimut, we already work with a platform for the project leader. And we are certainly going to work with the same kind, the same kind of the platform. So we are working with somebody, contractor,
Okay.
un sous-traitant, to digitalize the tool.
Okay. Do you have the name maybe of the platform you're using?
Wikiflow.
Wikiflow. Okay, thank you.
So will it be in French? Of course.
First, yes, in French.
Okay.
And maybe I don't know what will be the next step for that.
But
The
anyhow,
problem-
you
the
don't know
problem
if
is-
you
sorry.
open to the public. So just I want to see as well. I'm wondering about. That's why I ask. But if it will not be open to the public, then it will be only for your users.
Yeah, for the moment it's only for our users, but the problem is the time that we have to give to the project, the time and the money, unfortunately. So, well, yes, it's a pleasure for us to share, but well, it was not the goal initially to do a tool in English and share it like this. So
And we can maybe see in the future how we can
maybe
collaborate, because the thing is, I think everyone would agree on that, is that we see a lot of these tools being developed that are based, inspired by EntreComp, but I think it would be really nice to have a joint approach so that users kind of see the same tool and then they don't try a new one and then a new one. And then when they start the project, but then at the end of the training, or when they are already in their entrepreneurial journeys, then they can still like have the same tool that will maybe have improvements or some changes. So I hope that we can pick this discussion a bit later when you have started your to put it on the platform, to see where we can have a common approach to it, especially even in Wallonie. Like when you see how many people are developing self-assessment tools, it's insane. And I think now in the digitalized world, we could find a common approach.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, yes, we can update in a few months, I think.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I think that's it for us about the tool. We explain and we make some practice. If you have any question about it, we have our address email. You can contact us, and then voila. Yolene, I don't know if you want to say
No, that's it.
the last word. I hope it was understandable.
It was. Thank you so much. And then we look forward to see the next steps of this. And really great job. It's really a great tool. It's inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you.